This story is set in 1,982 inches to the city of Baghdad. There, we are introduced to Sarah, a beautiful teenage girl who is the daughter of an English noble. Sarah is enjoying a trip in the Middle East, accompanied by her loyal servant Jeffrey.
It's not why.
One day, in the middle of the crowded city, Sarah catches the attention of an Arab man named Jackal. Jackal is known as an influential figure and a slave owner in the area. Captivated by Sarah's beauty, Jackal starts acting inappropriately and boldly flirts with her in public. Seeing this, their tour guide, Ahmed, immediately warns Jackal and asks him to stay away. However, the warning only triggers Jackal's anger. From that moment on, Jackal holds a grudge and is determined to get Sarah by any means necessary. Feeling that Baghdad is no longer safe, Ahmed decides to take Sarah and Jeffrey out of the city as soon as possible. They plan to continue their journey to Damascus and hire a man named Basi as their guard. As the group is about to leave, a family suddenly asks for permission to join them. The family consists of a teenager named David and his parents. Although hesitant at first, Ahmed and Sarah eventually allow them to join the journey across the desert. After a long journey under the scorching desert sun, they stop at a resting place. There, they refill their water supplies and enjoy entertainment in the form of traditional Arab dance. The performance catches David's attention and leaves him mesmerized. As they are about to return, David accidentally sees a sight that leaves him frozen. From a distance, he sees Sarah cleaning herself. However, the calm moment doesn't last long, because the next day, a major tragedy occurs. It is revealed that Basi, the guard they hired, is actually working for Jackal. That morning, Jackal arrives with his troops and launches a brutal attack. Many people are killed in the assault, including David's parents. Realizing the situation is getting more dangerous, Ahmed quickly tells Sarah, David, and Jeffrey to hide inside an old well. That decision saves them, even though Ahmed himself is eventually killed in the attack.
Hurry! Quickly!
After things calm down, Basi meets Jackal to demand his payment. But Jackal refuses to pay him, considering that Basi failed to bring Sarah. Feeling betrayed, Basi tries to fight back, but he ends up being killed instead. A few hours after Jackal and his troops leave, Sarah, David, and Jeffrey come out of hiding. Filled with grief, they bury David's parents, as well as Ahmed, who saved them. With no clear destination, they decide to continue their journey to Damascus on foot across the vast and barren desert. The next day, they find a large cave with a water source. The place becomes a new hope for them, but things get difficult again when Jeffrey suddenly collapses from exhaustion while trying to get a camel. Inside the cave, David and Sarah start getting to know each other better. David slowly becomes more mature and responsible. To survive, he begins hunting and looking for food. Every time he returns, he often sees Sarah cleaning herself at the water source. Days pass until one night, Jeffrey says they can't stay there for long because the journey to Damascus is still very far. His words make David feel disappointed, because deep down, he's starting to enjoy their simple life in the cave. The next day, while hunting, David sees a settlement made up of tents standing beneath a cliff. He quickly goes back and tells Jeffrey about his discovery. But ignoring David's warning, Jeffrey insists on going to the settlement, hoping to ask for help. Time passes, but Jeffrey doesn't return. Anxiety starts to grow in David and Sarah, until David finally decides to go after him. After managing to get inside one of the tents, David quickly grabs some food before leaving. That's when he discovers the harsh truth that Jeffrey has been killed. In a panic, he immediately returns to the cave and tells Sarah they have to leave because Jackal has appeared again with his troops.
Tomorrow. The
English?
He died more bravely than I thought.
During their escape, the camel they are riding suddenly stops and refuses to continue. Frustrated, David chooses to step away for a moment to calm himself down. Without realizing it, the camel starts walking on its own and takes Sarah to an unexpected place. It turns out they find a hidden oasis in the middle of the desert. David and Sarah feel relieved because they finally found a safer place.
I don't believe it!
At the oasis, they begin to enjoy the cool water and the peaceful atmosphere far from danger. David can't hide his admiration for Sarah, and for the first time, he feels genuine love. From that moment on, they decide to stay there. They build a simple hut and try to start a new life, far from Jackal's pursuit.
I didn't know you could make things.
However, that peace doesn't always go smoothly. One day, a chimpanzee comes and steals their food supplies. Since the animal doesn't show any signs of danger, David and Sarah eventually let it stay. Over time, the chimpanzee becomes a companion that fills their days. Its presence helps ease their loneliness, and it often joins David while he practices archery and hunting.
Just what I need.
One night, Sarah is seen reading a book about human anatomy. Her curiosity makes her secretly observe David's body while he's asleep. The next day, Sarah tries to get David's attention by climbing a tree and acting more openly. However, David's reaction isn't what she expected. He scolds her, feeling that her behavior is inappropriate.
Yelling! This is yelling!
The situation makes things awkward between them for a while. They stop talking to each other, but slowly, they become close again, like before. They laugh again and go back to living their simple days. David keeps practicing his archery, accompanied by the loyal chimpanzee, until one day, from a distance, he sees the person he fears the most, Jackal, approaching their place with his troops. David immediately tells Sarah they have to leave, but at the same time, the camel they've relied on suddenly runs away. The tension becomes unavoidable. They argue for a moment, but it all stops when they realize Jackal is getting closer. David and Sarah end up hiding behind the bushes, watching the simple hut they built burn to the ground. The chimpanzee that has been their companion tries to help. It even comes back bringing another chimpanzee as its partner. Now, it's not just David and Sarah living together. The two animals also seem to live side by side in the harsh desert life. After everything that happened, David decides to move to a coastal area that he believes is safer. Not long after, their camel that had run away finally returns. Their days start to feel calm again. They enjoy each other's company in a lighter atmosphere. But one day, when David tries to kiss Sarah, he gets rejected. The rejection hurts his pride and makes him feel humiliated. In his anger, David throws Sarah's favorite book into the sea and acts cold for the rest of the day. The next day, when David returns from fishing, he's shocked to find the hut destroyed and Sarah gone. He realizes she's been kidnapped. Without thinking twice, he immediately goes after Jackal. With reckless courage, David disguises himself as a woman to infiltrate the enemy camp. Even though he gets stung by a scorpion, he manages to rescue Sarah. But afterward, his condition gets worse because of the sting he got during the rescue. Sarah can only cry as she watches him grow weaker. She regrets throwing away the anatomy book that might have helped her. With hope, Sarah carries the helpless David and walks in an uncertain direction, accompanied by the two loyal chimpanzees. Eventually, they find another oasis. There, Sarah takes care of David, while hoping he will survive. In the middle of that situation, she confesses her love and also expresses her regret for once rejecting him. The next day, David finally regains consciousness, and his condition starts to improve. Relief and happiness return to both of them. For the first time, they try to live more calmly around the oasis. They do various simple experiments to survive and slowly begin to find what works. Not only Sarah, but the female chimpanzee with them is also pregnant and gives birth first. The warm atmosphere returns, but it doesn't last long. From a distance, Jackal appears again. This time, David chooses not to run away. When their camel dies from exhaustion, he decides to face Jackal directly. With confidence and Sarah's support, David stands against his enemy. The arrow he releases finally ends Jackal's life, and the threat is over. At the end of their journey, David and Sarah finally arrive at the gates of Damascus. They are ready to start a new life after everything they've been through. Even though they have to part ways with their two loyal companions, they move forward with better hope.